1-800-306-7 and 145502 and Cal BRE 01869452 and 1866775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries. As we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media, this is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots, you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I do deliver it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof of your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest and repeat offender, Blake Vartanian, Realty Pro 100 is in the house. Welcome.
Thank you, Ron. Pleasure to be here.
Glad to have you with us. And I remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Just remember that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
Well, I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money. I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we are celebrating today. I wonder if these go together, National Freedom Day and National Texas Day. In Venezuela, you know, we're not quite as free as they are in America. Right? Texas, though, that might be part of it. National Get Up Day. So I think we may just have to stick with one of the good old favorites, being that I have beaten anorexia. Today is actually National Baked Alaska Day. I was just talking about that with some friends yesterday. Baked Alaska Day. I can go with that one. That's a good choice for the day. Do we really want to look at the markets today? The roller coaster that we call the stock market. Right now we're looking at the Dow Jones Industrial Average up 222 points. I get it. S&P 500 is up 52 points. NASDAQ up 281.9. 281.9 is what we're seeing for the NASDAQ. That's an amazing number right there when you think about some of the stocks that are on the NASDAQ. Oil, 86 cents a barrel up. And if you are one of those investors who are playing GameStop, you may not be smiling today. 258.11 down, $66.89.
Ow!
Yeah, not pretty, but hey, you know something? I told you last week, all week long, stay away. I know there's a lot of people that made some money at it. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be crying about it. There's a lot of losses in that stock. It's not an investment. Right? An investment is something called Apple. I'm not saying good or bad investment. I'm just saying it's an investment. GameStop is just strictly momentum. And at some point in time, the carousel ride will end, and there's going to be a lot of people that don't have a seat or don't have a horse to get on, going to lose all their money. And it's a shame, especially if you put more money than you can afford into it. But we're going to be talking about that later today. U.S. 10-year Treasury is up just a tiny, tiny fraction, so we're not even going to think about that one. What's going on in the world right now? Well, there's a lot of it going on in the world right now. And I said my headline today was something that I think that we're going to have quite a bit of commentary that'll come back on me on. My headline for the broadcast today, if you saw it on any of our social channels, climate change policy. It's just a ruse to tax the poor. Think about this, and I don't want to get there. I want to make sure that you understand, in my opinion, there is a huge difference between Alex is in the house. Yeah. There's a huge difference between climate change and climate change policy. Climate change, yeah, the climate is changing, right? We know that. That's scientific. It's a couple days it's warmer, a couple days it's cooler. Sometimes we say it's, we get more rain, we get less rain. Been going on for, depending upon your personal thoughts, evolution or Big Bang or science, thousands of years, billions of years. I haven't been around that long, so I don't know either one of those. But the Earth has been changing all this time. So we know that the climate is changing. Climate change policy. Think about this. Now, we hear from our friends on the left consistently, the rich have to pay their fair share. You ever heard that statement? The rich have to pay. You hear it all the time, right? You can't get away from it. And then we get a bunch of folks, especially the young people, who believe that hogwash. And they say, well, the rich have to pay their fair share. And then you see what the policy is. So when we look at policy, and it's a big difference between what the policy is and what they actually do. So think about this. We're hearing right now that that one of the ways that some of the current administration wants to get tax revenue. They're going to tax the rich, right? A gas tax. That's the best way to tax the rich, isn't it? Think about this. Who pays the gas tax? Now, if I choose to, I can go out and I can buy pretty much any car I want to buy. If I want to go buy a Tesla, I go buy a Tesla. If I want to go buy an energy efficient car, I go buy an energy efficient car. If I want to go buy a Prius, I go buy a Prius. If I want to drive my car in sport mode, I get bad gas mileage. I put it in economy mode, I get good gas mileage. I have options, right? I make a good living. I have options. It doesn't bother me if I have to pay a little more per gallon, because I do anyway, right? The wealthy, they're going to go buy Tesla, right? Tesla stock, Tesla cars. Are they going to be paying a gas tax? No. When my wife goes shopping, she goes and buys a high-end, and I don't know why, I'm not going to even get into it. She'll buy some real good plasticware, or she'll buy a real nice spatula. Well, that's all coming from oil. Think about this. Now, if you don't have a lot of money, are you going out and buying a new car? No. You're sticking with that older car that's probably not as fuel efficient as today's cars. So you're paying more in gas tax than I am. So now you're starting to get the clue, right? If you don't have the money to go to, I don't even know the names of the store, Williams-Sonoma, and get a spatula that's going to last you a long time, you go to Dollar Tree and you buy a spatula this week and it lasts for about 4 or 5 uses, and you go and buy another one and it lasts 4 or 5 uses. Right? But over time, you're spending a lot more on spatulas because, it's easier to come up with a buck than, $10, $12 that they charge at some of the higher end stores. That plastic spatula is made from oil. And as oil prices continue to go up, who's paying those prices? Heating oil, right? The wealthy, they're going to put the solar on their house. The average working American doesn't have the money to put solar on their house. They might even be renting. So the utility bills go up. Yeah. Natural gas, they want to tax that, right? So who's really paying for climate change policy? Is it the rich that they keep saying has to pay their fair share? Or is it strictly a ruse to make those people who are hard-working Americans send more of their money to Washington through the back door? I throw that out there for you. Watch the policies. Don't listen to what these characters have to say. And I don't care whether it's right side, left side, down the middle, any side, back side. Watch what they do. Don't watch what they say. Speaking of what they do, look at this new pick. President Biden picks a new individual to run the unemployment program, Susie Levine. What is Susie Levine's background? Well, she was heading Washington State's Employment Security Department, and they just lost $600 million. They don't know where that money went to. Oh yeah, they do know where it is. I missed that. I'm sorry. it went to Nigeria. How could that be? Right? I mean, even you and I know not to send money to Nigeria. I've got how many emails have you got from your uncle in Nigeria? Our new person in Washington, D.C. to run the unemployment program, 600 million in losses to a Nigerian fraud scheme. I don't make this stuff up. I just report it to you. And how about this new one? Are you ready for this? You got to love these. A couple of these are really nice. Chicago. The teachers don't want to go back to work. Is your teachers going back to work? Well, Chicago, they say you got to go back to work. Think about this. Teachers have, 20, 30 students per class. They can have a fixed environment that they can control, right? Cleaning and sanitizing and the screens and whatnot. Teachers, they can't go back to work with their 20 to 30 kids. But the grocery workers, they can. I just throw that out there for your consideration. Just want you to think about that one. And the last story I've got for you this morning, you're going to love this one. How about some of the high-tax states not happy with one of the results of the pandemic? Think about this. And it started in Massachusetts and New Hampshire. It'll get here. Don't worry. So the people of Massachusetts, they can't go to work during the pandemic. So what did they do? They went to their homes in New Hampshire and worked from New Hampshire. Well, where are they working? They're working in New Hampshire. No income tax, no state income tax in New Hampshire. Yeah, Massachusetts doesn't like it. They say before the pandemic, you worked here. We want you to pay taxes here. That should be a nice little trip to the Supreme Court to see what happens there. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, lot to cover today. We've got the featured home brought to you by myfavoritelender.net. And turn to an expert for the best advice, not perfect advice. We'll talk about that. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, it's 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Real Estate Radio is hosted by local real estate and finance expert Ron Siegel. The purpose of this show is to help consumers understand what's really going on in our local real estate market. We're teaching you the why and the how-to, so you'll always be one step ahead of everyone else. Whether you need to sell your home for top dollar, refinance and save money, or even buy a bargain in Southern California, Ron Siegel can help. Call Ron directly at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Take advantage of speaking with Ron anytime you're entering a real estate transaction. Having someone who can answer all of your questions that truly cares about you and your family's best interest is priceless. Call Ron Siegel today and you'll be glad you did. 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or you can visit realestateradio.com for more info.
Blue Water Credit Repair is the industry leader in fixing bad credit. Did you know a 40-point increase in your credit score can save you $40,000 on a home loan and $4,000 on a car loan? You deserve good credit and peace of mind. Take the first step today and go to bluewatercredit.com and register for a free consultation from one of their credit repair experts. That's bluewatercredit.com.
Trimming of your retirement does not include losing your house. However, due to today's lower stock market, higher medical bills, and taxes, many retirees face this very problem. This is why it is necessary that you, as a baby boomer considering retirement within the next 10 years, understand reverse mortgages and what one could do for you or your parents. A reverse mortgage could make it possible for you or your parents to travel, buy a second home, or start a new business. For more information about reverse mortgages, just call our off-air number at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit realestateradio.com and click the free workshop button.
Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed rate below 3.5% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $300,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,300 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed to NMLS ID 217037. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next loan, hey, how about a debt consolidation loan? Get rid of all those high interest loans and pay a lower rate. Geneva's got those for you. The S&P 500 now down 245. I'm sorry, the Dow down 245. NASDAQ, I better have some more coffee. The Dow is up 245. The NASDAQ is up 303. The S&P 500 is up 58. 10-year Treasury down 3 basis points. Mortgage-backed securities up 8 basis points. That means interest rates are down a little bit. What does all this mean to you? That's the big question. Don't worry about all those other numbers, but what does it mean to you? Well, a lot of it has to, why is it happening is another good question. Is a lot of euphoria in the market, and I've told you this before, be careful. The City Euphoria Index is way, way too high, about 4 times what it was at the dot-com bubble. And I have a problem with that. It's coming. Is it going to come today, tomorrow? I don't know, but it will be here, right? When you start hearing the kids on the street, I'm not degrading kids on the street because they're investors just like the rest of us, maybe even better. But when you start hearing people that are really not savvy investors saying, hey, did you buy whatever? That's when you have to really start being careful. So what is the big drivers of the market? Well, it's still been the same thing. It's still the virus, right? If we can get some of these states back to work, we'll be in much better shape. Does it surprise anybody? I saw this stat this morning, and if I can find the numbers on my handy-dandy cheat sheets here, top 5 unemployment rates are states run by Democrats. The lowest unemployment rates, states run by Republicans. I'm not trying to get political. I'm just saying, just reporting numbers to you. Why is it that Florida has such a much more robust economy right now? And actually, their cases of coronavirus are dropping. We'll watch that one. Big news this week is going to be the jobs report. That comes out on Friday. That's the BLS version of the jobs report. We're going to get the ADP version of the jobs report will come out on Wednesday. Unemployment rate expected to increase from 6.7 to 6.8. So we'll see what happens on that. The Federal Reserve did tell us the end of last week that they're going to hold steady. The more they keep buying the bonds, that's why we see mortgage-backed securities, that bond. That's what drives home loan rates. And if they keep buying more, that increases the demand for those bonds. Higher the demand goes, if there's not enough supply, well, the bond is going to go up, which means interest rates will go down. That's what we've been watching. And we are right at a level of overhead resistance right now. We'll see if we can get through that. 103.317 is the level. We're at 103.33. So we're just a tick over and see if we can hold that, which will be good news for those people that still have not listened to us and done their home loan refinances. But again, if you're making good money on stocks like GameStop, Blockbuster, Nokia, AMC, I'm glad for you, but here's what I want you to consider. And no, we don't give investment advice on Ron Siegel Radio. That would be illegal, but I would share with you what I would tell my kids. Take some of that money out of there. If you have a little bit you want to play with, so be it. Nothing that you need for something significant. Take some of that money out and put it into a longer-term strategic investment. That's what we're going to talk about this morning. That is the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. And speaking of a longer-term significant investment, chatting this morning, Blake Vartanian is here, Realty Pro 100. And Blake and I, as you could probably tell if you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv or any of our socials, the AM 1490 ABC News and Talk Video, both of us are what I call seasoned. I'm old, but we're seasoned. That's a term. And you've probably seen some of these ups and downs in the stock market before.
Oh, definitely. Many times.
And generally, for all but a few, they don't really end well.
No. There's always a cycle of euphoria that leads to disappointment at some point.
Right.
Because I would say no trajectory stays in the same direction indefinitely.
And that's a good way to put it, right? I mean, and it's all asset classes. And one of the things you have to concentrate on or be cognizant of is all these different asset classes. So like right today, I heard that the Reddit group is working on silver, right? So that's generally in the futures market. There's some ETFs in it. You got stocks, you've got bonds, you've got real estate. Now, real estate is the one that you and I like to focus on most.
Yes, definitely.
And part of that has to do with it's something that you can touch, right? We know. Blake, I'm gonna throw this at. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this to you before, but when I was growing up, I was just out of college, or maybe I was still in my tail ends of college, and I had an accountant that did a lot of real estate investing. This is in the early '80s when interest rates were in the double digits. And he said, Ron, the worst mistake you make in real estate means you hold it an extra 5 years.
Exactly.
And that was in the 80s.
That's great. That's sound advice.
Now, I'm going to throw this at you because I know you've been in real estate for at least 20 minutes. If somebody bought a piece of real estate in 2007 at the absolute top of the real estate market at that time, San Bernardino, they lost 30, 40%?
Yes.
Orange County, 20 to 30%.
Mm-hmm.
By 2017, what do you think they were? Pretty much back.
17, it was back to where it was. And about a decade took.
Right. So the concept here, and I'm just looking at our Orange County real estate report card. Anybody can have this, just let me know. 10-year appreciation, 10-year average, 4.36. So that would be 2010 to 2020. I should make sure that I'm looking at the right years on this, because they usually tell me what year they're using. But just call it 2010 to 2020, 4.36 average. Right. So.
Well, when you consider that most people have their real estate leveraged, their return on their investment is much higher. So for every 20 cents they put in, they borrow 80 cents or 70 cents, some 30 cents, to 70 cents.
Right.
And they're using other people's money. So their own money is getting the multiplier effect, what we'd call a multiplier effect, because when you go out and buy stock, you typically have to pay, if you buy $10,000 worth of stock, you pay $10,000 for the stock and you're dollar for dollar. But if you, as a small investor, if you buy real estate, you could get a piece of real estate for, let's say, as little as 3.5% down, depending on the real estate,
right?
And borrow the money.
So let's just to drive home, so because the concept of leverage is very, very important, because you're saying, okay, I got a big return on my GameStop, and because I'm a simple guy and I can almost do this in my head, I'm going to say you put 10% down.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's an easy number to work with, right?
Very easy.
And so that means we've got 90% leverage. So on a $500,000 house, we're putting down $50,000.
Yes.
But if that property goes up, and I don't want to use the 4.36 because I can't figure math that way.
Just 4% even.
Well, I'm going to use 5 because it's easy.
5 is easy. I like that.
Right? 61-year average is 5.29.
Yes.
So if that 5%, if this $500,000 property appreciates by 5%, in my head, I think that's $25,000.
Yes.
Am I close?
Yes.
Okay, and we've already said that we put $50,000 in. That sounds like me like about a 50% rate of return on my cash.
That is correct.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a hell of a rate of return. And I can live there. I can rent it. I can see it.
And there are other tax benefits, and depending on your situation or circumstance,
right?
The accountant can, qualified to talk about. But there are those.
We're qualified to tell people the questions to ask somebody else.
Exactly.
Right?
To look into it.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, think about that: a 50% return on your invested cash. That means in 2 years you got all your money back, appreciation-wise, right? We haven't even talked about forced savings and the amortization table and what you can do with that money. And to me, I'm going to throw this question out to you before we go to break. Which way is safer, GameStop or real estate? GameStop was bankrupt or close to bankrupt a month ago. Real estate over the last 61 years has appreciated at 5.29%, not counting the multiplier effect that Blake just told us about. We're going to talk more about this when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. We've also got on the docket today, we've got that featured home brought to you by myfavoritelender.net and experts. When you look at an expert, do you want the best advice they can give you? They're not going to be perfect, I promise. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Hi, we're here with Ron Siegel, the host of Real Estate Radio. Ron, welcome to the studio. Give us insight as to what your show is all about.
Hi, Eric. Thanks for having me. Thanks for asking me that question. The reason we developed Real Estate Radio is right now there's an abundance of misinformation out there. So Real Estate Radio is a show designed to give Southern California a focal point for their real estate knowledge, as well as a place to go just in case they might need anything real estate related.
So how are you helping people?
That's actually pretty simple. People need advice. So it really doesn't matter who you are. If you have any real estate questions, we're here to help. Whether you're buying a home, selling, you're experiencing a loan modification, short sale, foreclosure, there are a lot of things going on in this marketplace.
How can people get a hold of you?
Real easy. All you have to do is call. The number is 1-800-306-1990. Press option 1.
Interesting times in the market right now. Where do you think the markets are going from here?
That's a great question. All I can say is this. The housing market came down one house at a time, and what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to build it one house, one family at a time. So the best thing that anyone can do is access the free advice that we really want to give you. And to do that, you simply need to call me. The number is 1-800-306-1990, option 1. I'd really love to help.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you paying rent because you think you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you renting because you don't believe that you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? The Siegel lending team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel lending team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com, license under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed rate below 3.5% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $300,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,300 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed to NMLS ID 217037. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text SLT Home Digest to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. This is an important concept that I think that a lot of people miss. And it's the concept, I'm going to tell you the headline and I'm going to explain it a little bit what I mean. Turn to an expert for the best advice, not perfect advice. As we approach the anniversary of the hardships we faced through this pandemic and the subsequent recession, it's normal to reflect on everything that's changed and wonder what's ahead for 2021. While there are signs of economic recovery as vaccines are being issued, we still have a long way to go. It's at times like these we want exact information about anything we're doing. That information brings knowledge, and this gives us a sense of relief and comfort in uncertain times. If you're thinking about buying or selling a home today, the same need for information is very real. But because it's a big step in our lives, that desire for clear information is even greater than all of the home buying or selling process. Given the current level of overall anxiety, and I always love it when I get these calls in the middle of the broadcast. I thought this was all turned off. Gotta love it. Sorry about that. But there's sounds that keep going off in my head. I can't understand where they're coming from. Please. If you're thinking about buying or selling a home today, the same need for information is very real. But because it's such a big step in our lives, that desire for clear information is even greater in the home buyer and selling process. Given the current level of overall anxiety, we want that advice to be perfect. The challenge is no one can give you perfect advice. Experts, however, give you the best advice possible. Let's say you need an attorney, so you seek out an expert in the type of law required for your case. When you go to her or his office, they won't immediately tell you how the case is going to end or how the judge or jury will rule. If they could, that would be perfect advice. What a good attorney can do, however, is discuss with you the most effective strategies you can take. They may recommend one or two approaches that they believe is best for your case, then leave the decision making to you. Once you decide, they can help you put a plan together based on the facts at hand. They'll help you achieve the best possible resolution and make whatever modifications to the strategy are necessary to guarantee that outcome. That's the best advice possible. The role of a real estate professional is just like the role of that lawyer. An agent cannot give you perfect advice. It's impossible to know exactly what's going to happen throughout the transaction, especially in this market. An agent can, however, give you the best advice possible based on the information and situation at hand, guiding you through the process to help make the necessary adjustments and the best decisions along the way. An agent will lead you to the best offer available. That's exactly what you want and deserve. Think about that concept, because I just had this morning. That's a real-time real estate segment, but I want to transition that into my conversation this morning with Blake Vartanian, Realty Pro 100. So Blake, I had a conversation, an online chat this morning with a fellow, and he's looking at pulling some money out of his property, and it's a lot of money that he's pulling out. It doesn't matter whether it's $1, $10, $10,000, $100,000, whatever. to everybody, that number, a lot is a different number. And we're just about at the end of that process. And the purpose of it was we're taking money out of the property to buy another property and increase his net worth based through, or a portion of his net worth through real estate. So I get a message from him this morning. We're about a third of the way through phase one. Ron, do you really think that this is the right way to go? Do you think interest rates are going to go down? Do you think real estate's going to go down or go up? And my comment to him was, it doesn't matter. Right? What is your goal? What is your strategy? I can give him the best advice strategically, right? Is interest rates going to go up or down next week?
The only time it matters is when your name is on the title and you're the one benefiting from the long-term growth.
Right.
Right? Because nobody can go back in time and buy what you could buy before.
Yeah.
It's just not possible.
And I had a real estate agent that was on my radio program probably 5-6 years ago. And he said, I'm probably one of the few people that can tell you exactly when to sell your real estate. Exactly. He said, if you will wait 3,000 years, your property is going to be worth more than it is today. Right? We can almost guess that he's correct.
Yeah.
Right? But beyond that, I mean, we know that if you put together the right strategy, right? And I know at Realty Pro 100, you're doing this, you're helping a lot of families extract, or I call it liberate, equity to build their real estate portfolio.
In fact, it's a major focus of our efforts, Ron, and we love doing it because what you see happening is people are being educated at a high level on things they didn't realize were possible for them. They always thought it was only available for someone else, if at all.
Right.
And so what we take is the consultation. No, we take the sales right out of it. It's not about trying to sell something to somebody that they don't want, because we want to walk alongside of you for the entire journey. So if we do that just one time, we've ruined the relationship, and that's not our objective.
Sure. I mean, you're not going to be able to retire off of one transaction.
No.
Right. So even if it wasn't that and I know you do look out for the benefit of the consumer, but it's also in your benefit also because you can't retire on one transaction. So you better treat people the right way.
No, and we know we're going to run into people at the grocery store, the library, wherever we happen to meet people out in the community, and we want to have that mutual respect.
Right. So here's the concept that I was working on with this gentleman down south. Is he's actually liberating, I think, about $300,000 from his property. Now, if he's got $300,000 liberated, and you just listen to what Blake and I spoke about in the last segment, if you missed it, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube or any of our socials, I'm going to say that he could probably buy very comfortably 3 $500,000 properties.
That is about right.
Is that a good number?
That's a good number.
Okay, and if he buys 3 of those, then he's at that's a 20% equity position. So he's got 5 times leverage.
Yes.
If my math is right. We got 1.5 million in real estate, growing at 5%. So is that $75,000 a year?
Yes.
Where are you going to make $75,000 a year passively? Again, I'm not saying it's going to happen exactly, right? We don't want anybody to be misled. Right. Because we can't guarantee anything.
We're using the historical trend line,
right?
Assuming that we have to take into consideration that as the national deficit grows and the government spends more than it's taking in, it's probably going to lead to inflation at some point that is greater than the inflation we're experiencing today. And real estate has always been seen from the most foundational elements of the industry as a hedge against inflation, because it's an asset class that you can't create more land.
Yeah, it's a limit. There's a limit of it,
right? And the population continues to grow.
Sure.
So even
people still want to be in California.
What we say, for every property that comes on the market, no property stays on the market indefinitely. You eventually find a buyer for it. Sure. So,
and every property will sell. I'm a big believer
at the right price.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, if you've got a property that's been on the market for 90 days, It's either not being marketed properly or it's not being priced properly.
Correct.
One of the two, right? Supply and demand. There's only one of them. And I can guarantee you put market down 40%, you're going to get a bunch of people showing up and get a bidding war going. Even if it's priced wrong, market down 40%, and I guarantee, I can guarantee.
It'll get bid back up to the fair market value,
right,
or maybe even in today's market a little bit higher because of the shortage of available inventory that is currently in the marketplace. But that will shift as well, because we have to take into account there's a lot of factors creating that shortage of inventory.
Absolutely. So let's go back to my example here, Blake. So we are looking at hypothetically $75,000 a year in appreciation.
Yes.
And our total money that we put down was $300. That's 25% return on my capital. That's a massive number.
It is a massive number.
Right. So 4 years, I've got all my capital back, and in 4 years, I've got those three pieces of property that have appreciated at, 5.19, 4%, 7%, whatever it is. Under the concept of what you're doing right now and what you're sharing and educating with people, what are you going to do with that $300,000 that's now in these four properties at that time?
Well, I mean, in addition to that, you're going to put a tenant in there who's probably going to pay a rent that has a good chance of giving you additional cash flow.
Sure.
And rents have been steadily climbing for many years now, and whether that continues or not, there are factors that we'll see. But the main point of it is that someone else is going to pay off your mortgage. So
I like that.
So let's say you put a 15-year mortgage on it. Well, let's just even go with a 30-year mortgage. Over a 15-year period, you're going to have created a substantial additional amount of equity in addition to your passive income that you're going to have received, because they're going to pay down that mortgage balance for you.
I like that idea. The other thing that we can also contemplate is, so we've got three pieces of property that now have a good amount of equity, because both the amortization table is kicking in over 4 years. Somebody else has been paying that. I like that idea. We've got the appreciation. And when we come back, I'm going to give you the next step of what we do here. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. We've got a featured home coming to you from myfavoritelender.net. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Off air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams, or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Do you have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership? What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel Lending Team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send you a no-obligation mortgage adoption plan. You be the judge if it's right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to map@ronsiegelradio.com, or call today Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporation and MLS 217037 and BCAL BRE number 018694452.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
Do you believe Southern California real estate is a great investment? Are you a little short to be a cash investor? Are you missing the Social Security card or tax returns? The Siegel Lending Team has the loans for you. Common Sense Lending is back. Yes, there's a cost to higher risk, but the reward can be great. Call today for details. 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 217037 and DRE number 1869452.
Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed rate below 3.5% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $300,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,300 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed to NMLS ID 217037. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The featured home segment today being brought to you by myfavouritelender.net. Yeah, we've got this property. 1721 El Dorado Avenue in La Habra. 6 bedrooms, 6 full and 1/2 bathroom. What kind of home would you build if you could build your dream home? You'd build a modern craftsman-style dream home with a casita just like this one. In 2011, the estate was rebuilt from the ground up. As you enter the main home, you find beautiful hardwood floors, formal living room, complete with plantation shutters. A bay window, a guest bathroom, a formal living room connecting to a luxury kitchen with an island. You got a bay window and an island, both. So you can check out the bay and the islands. Chef stove with pot filler, built-in fridge, walk-in pantry, oversized family room, vaulted ceilings, fireplace, outdoor California room. Kind of love it. It's all brought to you by our friend Aaron Zapata. He's got this listing. The price is right. I don't know, $2 million. Let's look at the financing again. If you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed, you'll see all these numbers that I'm sharing with you. 10% down, $79.57 a month, principal and interest. 20% down, $7,074 a month, principal and interest. With a 25% down strategy, got to remember the strategy part, $62.23 a month, and for those of you keeping score, that's a 3.578, 3.475, and 3.075 APRs. Keep the compliance people happy. NMLS 217037. Again, if you want to see the property, Aaron Zapata's got it. Give me a call, 800-306-1990. Be happy to put you in touch with our friend Aaron. We're getting back, again, that's the featured home. If you've got a home you want to feature right here on Ron Siegel Radio, give us a call. The My Featured Home segment, again, brought to you by myfavouritelender.net. Continuing our conversation, real estate investing. I think in the long run, it's better than GameStop. Just throw that out there for you. And but let's say you've got a lot of what's the pink stuff? Pepto-Bismol. Right, you need a lot of Pepto-Bismol and maybe a few Xanax here and there if you're going to be involved in those things. But before the break, Blake Vartanian, Realty Pro 100, and I were chatting a little bit, and during the break, about liberating money. You've got a house, you can liberate, say, $300,000 out of it. And yes, there are places that you can buy in Southern California for $500,000. We talked about buying 3 of them, using $100,000 each, leveraging those. And looking at the real estate appreciation report card, this is just for Orange County. I'm going to give you several numbers. 61 years on average, Orange County appreciates at 5.29%. 10 years, 4.36%. 5 years, 3.61%. Forecasting 1 year out, 6.93%. Just some numbers for you. Now, we've got three $500,000 properties. Blake brought up to my attention before the break something that I forgot is there was that one property that we liberated money from, and let's just use a simple number that was a $600,000 property. So think about what we've done here. Now, in 4 years' time, we've got this 600,000 is going to go 30,000 times 4, right? Am I right on 120,000? We've got we've got $1.5 million is 75,000 times 4. That's 300,000. So now we've got another $420,000 in equity that maybe we can liberate. Don't know. Nothing's perfect. We have we have a couple of options here. One of them you mentioned during the break. We could do nothing, right? Properties are going to still appreciate. Somebody else is going to still make our mortgage payment on 3 of them. We're living in the other one, right? So we're in good shape there. That's increasing our net worth.
Yes.
But is there a rule that says we can't do it again? Rinse and repeat?
It's highly recommended.
Right? So we can take that 420 out, liberate that 420. Now we could actually buy 4 $500,000 properties, right? Putting $100,000 down on each. We go and take our wife or husband or significant other on a nice vacation for $20,000. And now we've got 4 more properties. So now we've got 8 properties total, all appreciating while we're doing what we do.
And that's one way to do it.
Okay.
There's other, there are people who own their homes currently without a mortgage, as you know.
Right.
And they're not sure that they're not sure what to do next because they've been taught that they should just pay off their mortgage and burn the note.
Right.
And they have mortgage burning party and all that, and they celebrate.
Well, you're dating yourself.
Yeah,
We don't
right.
even hear about that anymore. There's not a lot of people
Right,
that know about mortgage
right.
burning parties.
Well, I mean, there's a whole generation of people my age, though, who understand
Yeah.
that and beyond.
Absolutely.
And so they achieved the highest and best utilization. But so did, in our case, in our 8 cities around our area, there's about 53,000 people who've done the same thing.
So I'm going to throw this trick question at you, Blake.
Yeah.
What is the rate of return on home equity?
Well, if there's 4% appreciation in the marketplace, it's 4%, but it's typically 0 because you don't have a mortgage, so there's no leverage.
Well, here's the concept that so many people don't think about, and I know the guru on radio out of Tennessee doesn't like to talk about this, but the rate of return on home equity is always 0.
No, that's true. Yeah.
Right. So if I have a $500,000 home and it's got a $500,000 mortgage and it goes up 5%, $25K.
Mm-hmm.
If I've got a $500,000 home with no mortgage and it goes up 5%, it's $25K.
Mm-hmm.
The equity is always going to be the same. Rate of return on equity is 0. So if we liberate that equity that we've been talking about, we did 300,000, bought $1.5 million in real estate. So we had $1.5 million and we had our 600 that we started with. And now we do another 420 to buy another $1.5 million, right? Not counting all the appreciation that we've seen in there. We've got 3.6 plus all that appreciation, right?
Well, in almost the exact same example of what you're using, we had an investor who had a condo in South Coast Metro, 1-bedroom unit, renting at $1,700, $300,000 valuation. Well, we used to sell those things for 55 or 60 grand, right? When I first started in real estate 4 decades ago, and now this person took their equity and bought a 4-plex in La Habra, interestingly enough, and they went from a $1,700 gross income to $7,700 gross income from the rental of the fourplex, and their net after all expenses, they're gonna net over $2,000 a month, which is more than the gross income on the original investment.
So here's the concept that I love about what you just said. Very few people ever talk about it, ever think about it. If I buy, how much was the value of that fourplex roughly?
1.365, I believe, and today it's worth 7 months later. It could sell for about 1.6.
So let's say I buy a $1.5 million house and I want to rent it. I don't know, maybe I can get let's call it $5,000 a month rent.
Mm.
Okay, and you got that fourplex that you said was getting $7,700 a month?
Yes.
Now, if my tenant in the 1.5 moves out, what's my rental? My rental income goes down to zero.
Zero. Yeah, you got all your eggs in one basket.
If one person moves out, I've still got, I don't know, call it $5,000 in rent coming in. Right, 1/4 of it, whatever the number is, I didn't figure it out exactly. Got a lot more security there with a fourplex than I do with one big single family residence.
Absolutely.
Right? Think about that concept. And that's what we talk about when I talked earlier in the show about the best advice possible. It may not work perfectly, but it's the best advice possible. And that's why I ask you set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to John and Sean, who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.